Senpai, that is a great question. Do you need to have your body when you perm and leave? Let me think about this. This could actually be something that we test. Senpai29 asked us this week, do you need your body when you perm out with the Temp Perm method in order for it to work? What do you guys think? Let me know before you get to that part in the video what your thoughts are. Put them down in the comments section. Also, at the end of last night's stream, we just had some awesome conversations at the end of it. It was literally the last like 20 minutes of streaming for this week, and it was such a good time to like touch base with you guys and talk and answer some questions that some people had about glitches and server rollbacks and server desyncs that have happened all throughout Diablo 2 history. And I just thought it was such awesome conversation that we had. It was just a great way to end the week on stream. So thank you all for everyone who joined me there, and I hope you guys enjoy watching it. And now let's put a theory to the test. So do you guys want to test this theory? So Senpai came on stream yesterday and asked me, he said, do you need to have your items on your character when you perm out for perming out to work? And I actually didn't know the answer to that question, but what I've done is I've got myself a couple of dupes. I've got myself a couple of dupes that we can test. We can test out this theory. I've got 3 computers up here, so I can PK a character, I can perm out, and you know, we can really put it to the test. We're gonna test this out. You guys ready? All right, so this character, we are gonna make a game. Let's make it in hell too. Let's make it interesting. All right, so I have a duped amulet on this character. It's not anything too special, but it is duped. And if you want me to prove it, hold on 1 second. All right, so we have another assassin in here. That is also me. And you see a Havoc Mark amulet right here. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drop down another Havoc Mark amulet. So this is clearly duped. It's the exact same item. So first, we're just gonna test the regular perm method, right? Let me bring in another character. So we've got all our dudes here. So this is what we'll do. First, we'll prove that the perm method works, right? Just to give ourselves a nice base. And then we're gonna test it out. So we obviously have 2 of the same duped item on the same server because we have 2 of these guys right in the same game. So we have to perm out. So I'm gonna perm out this guy. And theoretically, that one should be perm. Or, you know, should be permed until the next game. The only one currently at this time that is at risk of poofing is the one that's on the other assassin. If the other assassin leaves the game right now without perming, that amulet will poof. So let's perm out. You taking bets here? I'm down. Strike up some bets. We'll see what people think. Actually, I think I have this up here. Let me see. Let me see if we can do this. Dial into my other computer. Have this work. Can we make this work? There we go. There we go. So this was the only sin that was at risk of losing her dupe. Right? So this is the first character that we joined on my main screen. This is the one that was at risk of losing her dupe. So let's join the same game. Perm method worked. Dupe is still there. It did not poof. Dupe is still there on my first guy, right? Now let's switch back over to RTD. And we will join this game. This is the one that was at risk of poofing. And it is still there. So both items still there after the perm method. Now the question is, will one of these items still will it still be perm if we use the perm method and we don't have our gear on? That is the question. So we're going to test that now. I'm actually going to... Here's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to perm out with this guy. So we're going to perm out here. So that one's good. Now, theoretically, this amulet right here is not perm now. If we leave the game and we are risking losing this amulet if we leave the game. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get PK'd. We're going to have our body in the moor. And we're going to test this out. Oh, man. 1 second, folks. Gotta PK some peeps here. All right. Gosh, this is gonna feel so bad. All right, now what we're gonna do is perm out, right? Was it really necessary to kill the merc? Yes, because NY didn't want to get embarrassed on stream by not having Holy Shield active and then taking lethal from a merc. All right, so now we perm out and we see if this amulet returns to us. We do not have our body on at this point. Just to prove it, our body is out here. We have not picked it up. Our duped amulet was on that body. And we're going to try it right here. What do you guys think? Do we have any bets? Do we think this is going to work even though I don't have my body on, perming out? Thank you, Sean. We're going to find out. Link says he bet it stays. What do we think? What just happened? What just happened? I have another step that we should do for this too. We should test if it will stay on your body if you don't perm out. If this does work, right, and we get it back, then great, we can go further. If we don't, we have just figured something out that the internet did not know. So this is really good. Everybody says it stays. Should try and stash next with perm out. It'll still work in stash with perm out because it's your stash is applied the same as your inventory and everything. Regardless if you're actually wearing the gear, the character will register the gear. Eximuses probably stay. My bet is that it will also stay. I think it will stay. Oh, it's not that. It is. All right, here we go. Is it there? No! No! Oh, shit. Shit. We lost it. We lost it. Rip. Rip. But hey, we figured something out. We figured something out. You do indeed need your body. You do indeed need your body on. I'm pumped about that. We just figured out something that people didn't know. We just figured out something that people didn't know. That I've never seen anything, like people were questioning that, man. And we just proved it right here on stream. Unfortunately, we lost a duped amulet, but dude, I'm okay with that. Like, we just found out that you do indeed need your body for the perm method to work. I'm okay with that. Yep. I mean, and hey, you never know. People could use that to, you know, that tells us something about the programming of the game, right? Like that tells us that items on your body are still registered on the server. They are registered on the server, but they are not on your character. They are not considered on your character. So if you think about it, it kind of makes sense because you can pick up 2 torches. You can pick up 2 torches if you have one that you're holding in your hand, you get killed, and then you go pick up another one. So that is very good to know. The items are still on the server on your body, but they are not on your character. That is super cool, man. But I mean, I guess it answers the next question that we had, which is, do you need to perm out if an item's on your body? You know what I mean? Or does it store it separately and you don't need to perm out? That answers both questions by it poofing. It says no to both. Like, Temp Perm Method doesn't work. And no, you do need to perm out if it's on your body. It just answers both questions. Senpai, we now know. We now know you do indeed, confirmed, need your body in order to perm out. It will not work if your items are, if you've been PK'd and your items are on your body. You need them on your character in order to perm out. So many high runes poofed back in the day. Well, yeah, Xmas, now they're doing it on ladder. When they dupe, like in the last phase of dupes, they would dupe high runes and then they would up them. Because when you up them, it perms them. So if you have 2 duped bears and you up them into a jaw rune, that jaw rune is perm. Because it's an entirely new item. It's like a newly generated unique item ID. So, totally perm. Yeah, so that's how they do it nowadays. That's how, like, when you have a dupe, that's why it's so profitable. Because you can just dupe runes and then make them permanent. Nope, won't poof at all. Yep, so if you take, like, 2 Sur runes and up them into a bear rune, that, you know, 2 duped Sur runes, up them into a bear rune, the bear rune that is created is a permanent bear rune. And yes, Nimrats, you're completely right. In the history of duping video that I put out, in a lot of those, like in some of the examples that you see in the B-roll, the people that are duping items, they're actually duping, I think the video's in German, so it's like, it's hard to see exactly what it is, but I think it's a mage plate with a ja and an if in it. And they dupe the base and the bear rune. Because when you put the bear rune into the armor, the bear rune is then perm. And when you make a base item a rune word for the first time, it is then permanent. Because the base item never had a unique item ID. Links cheered, 300 bits. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. You were the man, Links. Oh, for sure. And the thing is, if you dupe a base item, right? Like before it's ever made into a rune word, if you dupe a base item, that base item that is duped is permanent. As long as it was never made into a rune word, all base dupes are permanent. Yeah, items only get a unique item ID when they turn into a rune word or they are not a basic item. So a magic item has a unique item ID, a rare item all the way up. They all have unique item IDs, including runes. All of them have unique item IDs. The only items that do not have IDs are base items like white or socketed items. And as soon as you turn them into a rune word, that same ID exists regardless of if you switch it to another rune word. Note, the unique item ID is created as soon as the item is generated regardless of if it's identified. So if you have like a unidentified torch and you dupe it, the dupe is still not perm because the stat still existed. The number was still generated when it dropped. There's just a certain state. It's literally a 1 or a 0 that just says item is identified flag. So all of the stats, fun fact too, if you guys didn't know, whenever you have a unidentified item, some people think that like the stats are rolling somewhere in the background and they lock in when you identify it. That is not true. An item always has the same stats regardless of if it's identified or not. And the reason that I know this is because, do you guys remember the server rollback glitch? You guys remember the server rollback glitch? It was 1.10, right when no, it was 1.11. 1.11. But yeah, what was I saying? So the rollback glitch. Do you guys remember that? It was 1.1 when they came out with the last set of rune words that they made. The final set of rune words that they made where you had treachery, you had peace, like the newest set of rune words. That patch right there had the easiest to date server rollback glitch in it. And best believe as an OG player, I abused the ever living shit out of that glitch. Because it was so cool. so this is how you triggered it. So the newly created rune word peace that they just introduced to the game was really cool. You guys might remember that the rune word itself, when you get struck or when you, I think it's on striking, it has a 2% chance to cast Valkyrie when you strike an enemy. And that's all well and good. However, the glitch existed when you put the armor on your mercenary. And then your mercenary had Valkyrie cast when they struck a monster. So what would happen is the game would get so confused, it would not know the source of the casting. It apparently confuses the ever-loving shit out of the game and crashes it. Server rollback glitch, Extimus, is when you crash the game that you're in. You purposely crash the game that you're in. And I don't mean lag people out. I mean literally crash the game. The game crashes. And the difference is, like when you lag the game and people drop due to timeout, that means that you have so much going on in the game that it's hard for the server to communicate with the player, so it will drop you. A game crash is the game itself disconnects from the server. So the game that is created itself and everything in it disconnects from the server. There's something going on that has overwhelmed the server, and the server says, you're off, you're gone. Everybody drops all at once, and the game no longer exists. The game literally disappears. So that's called a game crash. Server rollbacks were rarely used to dupe, but they were often used to re-roll rune words. So what you would do is you would roll your CTA, right? So you just have one set of runes, you roll your CTA, oh, it's +1, that really sucks. So you strap peace on your mercenary, go have it hit monsters until it casts Valkyrie, boom, game crash. And as you guys might know from watching some of my videos, the only time your game saves is when a player leaves the game. So since nobody left the game crashed. The last known state of your character on the server was you with an unrolled CTA. So the next time you join a game, it usually takes about like 5 or 10 minutes before your character can join a game again when a game crashes. But when you join a game again, your CTA will be completely blank, all of the runes will be out of it, and you'll have the freedom to roll it again. And yeah, Lynx, there was another crash where you could cast Meteor and Bone Wall, and you would do the opposite. You would lag players from the game. And what happens then is it makes it difficult for the server to communicate with the player. So you might be able to leave the game or even drop out of it, and the server does not know that you left. So what happens is you wait a couple of minutes, like, just enough time, like between 30 seconds and a minute is usually what it was. And you rejoin the game. And what happens is before the server knew that you left, you rejoined. So if you dropped items on the ground and then you got dropped out by these wicked like lagged states that people used to make out of the game, when you rejoined, you would join with the first state of your items. So before you dropped your items on the ground, you'd have them right back there in your inventory. Yep, but that was not a server rollback glitch. That was just that was called a server desync glitch. You just desync your character from the server. Sean, I appreciate that, man. Yes, this was for science. This was for the greater good of the community. We figured it out today. Thanks to you guys' help. I'm surprised. We were all surprised in chat about that. So thank you guys for like watching along and joining in, man. That was awesome. But all right, guys, thanks again. I appreciate you joining in, and I will catch you next week. On Tuesday is when I'll be streaming again, Tuesday at 10 on Eastern Standard Time. If you guys want to jump in, join me. Always welcome. Take care, guys. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. We will see you soon.